Our revered paramount chiefs, Nana Kobina Nketia, the fifth paramount chief of Esikado traditional area. Awulai Atibrokusu, the third paramount chief, Lower Axim traditional area. Nana Kwesi Ajiman, the ninth paramount chief, Lower Discove traditional area. Distinguished guests, Nananum, ladies and gentlemen in the media, this far by grace. You may want to know how far we have come. Your presence here is an indication of how far we have come. We embarked on this journey just a year ago, and we started with our honorable assembly members gathered here. And today, if you take a look at our revered paramount chiefs and other distinguished guests among us, it's an indication of the milestone that we have achieved by far. My name is Xavier Kweku Ajika. I was born here in Takrady. I've lived almost all my life here, and I have Western region and Ghana at heart. I need to declare that I am a staff of Talo Ghana. I've worked for Talo for the past 13 years, and my employer has imparted me so much. One of the reasons why it's become possible for us to be here. At this point, I would like to acknowledge all the good works that our revered paramount chiefs and our other chiefs gathered here have done. Shall we please give them a round of applause? Having honored our invitation alone, it's a sign of the support they give to what is good on their land. They've done so much, and I'm not so sure when they look back who they see to hand over their baton to. And some of us have to prepare ourselves for that, so their efforts do not go in vain. I am privileged to be connected to two able young men by name Farouk Kailan, who is a mentor to me and has imparted me so much, inspired me, and Dr. Kofi Aban. We shall get to know about them. So what we are witnessing here is an annual event, and that is to say that we should expect that we gather each year and ascertain what the progress has been, of course, with the leadership of Nananum, and for us to be able to know how well we are doing and how well we can improve on what we are doing. But as to what we are doing, I'm yet to show it to you. Every success that is going to be projected here was achieved by CorpNation Foundation, and with the support of assembly members seated here and a lot other stakeholders whom I cannot mention because of the numbers. For me, I'm probably the originator of the idea and the concept, but the achievement is a collective one. Many of you here may know CorpNation Foundation to be a sanitation-oriented foundation, but I must say that you are yet to be surprised by the end of this session. I've not done this all alone by myself, and I would like to acknowledge the able young men who have supported this cause till now, especially the executives of CorpNation Foundation. So if any of you are here, kindly be on your feet. So these are the men who have supported the cause. We are here having a wider stakeholder engagement, and we believe that it is the right way to go because it is collaborations that has brought us this far. We have collaborated a lot. We have collaborated with our assembly members, and we have scaled up to collaborate with you who is sitting here this evening. And we want to say thank you so much for making it a point to join us this evening. At some point, you would get to know that there will be a call for support. And I must say that whatever support that comes to us is going to be managed and by us, it will be managed by us, but it will be under the auspices of Nananom and a committee who are going to help us steer affairs, from whom we are going to take directives and advice. I would like to bring my speech to an end by saying, once again, this far by grace. Thank you all for joining us. So we have a presentation to do to let you know what we mean by the launch of Community Hype 2022. So the pictures on the screen shows the genesis of CorpNation Foundation. CorpNation started as a show-based organization. A lot of you here would know that I have a music background, and it got to a point, the nature of the work I do would not allow that I choose music as a career, so I have to leave the likes of Kofi Kenata and co. and switch to do something else. So I decided to form CorpNation. We have SAC Nation from Sarkodie, we have Beam Nation from Stoneboy, and CorpNation for Sevi. Someone may ask, why CorpNation? The Corp is an indication that yes, we have a corporate background, and that is what we instill in the youth that we engage. So these are pictures, some pictures from the launch of CorpNation itself and not the foundation. So it happened at Paragon on the 28th of October 2016. So we had colleagues from the corporate bodies around. We have some expatriates. We had people from Accra, media men and all that joining us on the day. Now we are here talking about community hype. What we see on the screen was the first flyer we did for community hype. So this was Community Hype 2021, the maiden edition that we had. So we have our distinguished guests also shown on the screen. What do we expect tonight? As CorpNation Foundation, we have what we call community corporate youth clubs. And I'll throw more light on that. We have community cleanup story also to tell, community health screening, community football, community hype event. So in this order of presentation, we had embarked on the aforementioned activities until we had community hype events last year. Out of community hype events, there has been some very interesting and impactful projects that we've been able to come up with. One of them is community development. The next one is skills acquisition and entrepreneurship training program. The acronym is SCATE. We also have a 4-hour plus initiative, a waste management initiative, a scientific one, and its associated projects that we do. There is a look ahead for us to add to what we do, and last but not the least, the wider stakeholder engagement that we are having here. So we have sustainability at the core of everything that we do. We believe that an initiative can be good, implementing it can produce good results, but if it's not sustained, then effort goes in waste when it's not supposed to be the case. So our projects are in line with 5 out of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. One of them is to end poverty in all its forms. That's goal number 1. We also tackle goal number 3, good health and well-being. Goal number 8, decent work and economic growth. Goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Goal number 13, taking urgent action to combat climate change. Goal number 17, partnership to address the goal. And what we are witnessing here is a form of partnership to address the goal. Our vision as CorpNation Foundation is that we envision a world where the youth are activated. So the potential of all youth must be inspired, employed, and equipped to make them become responsible and participating citizens for sustainable development in society. So basically, we are a youth-driven foundation. The mission we have is to nurture and enlighten the youth on invaluable extracurricular aspects of life through both formal and informal learning activities by equipping them with appropriate platforms and resources to enhance their mental well-being and overall responsiveness to youth development. Corporate Youth Club. This is one element we take so seriously in the light of ensuring that whatever we do is sustained. Now, as it stands now, we have youth clubs in 10 communities across Sekondi, Takrady, and Ekma. So the essence of this is to make sure that what we do in communities are tailored to the needs of the community. So we don't move along as a large number of people to enter into communities and embark on activities. But any community that we work in, we make sure we are hosted by core members of the community who are able to articulate what the needs of the community are and also what the solutions should be. One may ask, what do we intend to achieve with this youth that we gather? There are a number of objectives. We cannot share all of them tonight, but the key among them are categorized into challenges and opportunities. Challenges. We have identified a gap between the youth and our traditional leaders. We have identified a gap between the youth and our political leaders. So these challenges in the form of knowledge gap also exist. Opportunities. The youth are able to take up roles in the following. So we have sustainable community security. Security in our communities is to be owned by the members of the community. In that, when I pick up any suspicion or any security threat, I should know what to do in order to keep myself and the rest of my neighbors safe. If it is a call that I have to place, where do I place the call to? And so forth. Road safety. Many a times we have people calling radio stations reporting of road safety concerns. I ask myself, if the presenter does not act on it, what is the other means for us to address road safety concerns? So the youth in our communities are to be empowered to own these responsibilities. Of course, the state institutions are there, but we need to own them. Fire safety. Not everybody here knows that when you are to engage an electrician to wire your new building, that electrician has to be a certified one. There are lots of other fire hazards that are so eminent in our homes. And education will go on with the engagement with the National Fire Service and all other relevant state institutions. We are educating the youth who are grouped in communities to own these responsibilities and make our living places safer. We also look at entrepreneurship, starting your own business, and not just starting it, sustaining it as one of the opportunities we can give to the youth through this arrangement. Enterprise support is another thing we look at, and we also have a concern on how we keep records of our membership in communities. So now when I walk to Kwesimintim and I have opportunities to present to Kwesimintim and I want accountability, I'm not sure I will get a data, an authentic data to say that this is a register of youth we have here and these are the qualifications that these people have for me to distribute my opportunities as such. So we are looking at also making sure we digitize these records through our initiative to foster the support that we look at getting from external sources. Professional trainings. A lot of we, the youth, are not even able to put together a CV. Sometimes somebody will send you the CV and the name of the file is Kweku 2. Opportunity comes your way, you look at it. You don't have time to open this CV to see who is Kweku 2 and some other tips that should be known by the youth whilst we aspire to look for job. We also have areas as fishing and oil. What is the way forward for the Ghanaian youth? So we are on oil land. We have fisher folks here. We have a lot of youth around. Where do we strike the balance? Where do we place the pivot? And how do we move forward in a win-win situation? So that is on the youth clubs and our objectives with it. Our cleanup exercise is also an enviable one. Since the launch of CorpNation Foundation on the 25th of April 2021, last year, we did cleanup exercises in 13 communities across ECMA and STMA. The sustainability aspect of it is what drives us the most. Now, when we embarked on cleanup activities in the communities, we heard a lot of comments being passed around. But I knew the yembre because we were putting mechanisms in place to let it be self-driven, to let it be sustainable. And as we speak, the youth clubs in the various communities do embark on their own cleanup exercises. We joined a group of oil and gas companies to do a beach cleanup somewhere in June this year at Indresia to mark World Environment Day. Now, these are records we have on our cleanup across a number of communities for this year. So in this year, 2022, our youth club in Adakope have done 4 cleanup exercises. New Takrady has done 7. Nkotumpo has done 3. Kwekuma has done 7. Fijai 1, our last baby. Takrady Technical University 1, and number 3, Chapel Hill 3. And I believe Kwekuma and New Takrady deserves a round of applause. So along the cleanup exercise, we also do health screening. I must admit that because what we do comes out so colorful and attractive, we have some health organizations always approaching us that we want to do health screening, but the way you are able to amass the people, we want to attach our project to yours. And that is what we also leverage on to say we do health screening. But in actual fact, it is other organizations that do this under CorpNation Foundation. Community football. We are a youth-based organization, and we know what football means to the youth. So we use it, if you are among the footballers here, sorry, we use this as a bait to let you align with us. We have fun, we do the football to unearth talent, we promote unity among communities and all that. We also use this to get you closer to us, to let you also reorient your thinking if it has to be the case. for us to embark on this journey together whilst we have fun alongside. So these are pictures from some football activities that we've had at Sulele, Takrady Sulele Park. So it was a whole 6-month football tournament that we did from 28th of September 2021 to somewhere 14th March this year. Now, community hype events. This idea came up after we had done the community cleanup exercises. So what happened was that we realized that there is a lot we can do for ourselves when we come together. In some communities, you ask somebody, how come the name of the community? Why Efiekuma? Why Injuresia? And someone will tell you, I was born here, but they are not even able to tell you how come the community has or bears that name. We also realize that there are a lot of good things in our communities that can be leveraged on to do some good things in our communities. We also, of course, came across a number of challenges, some of them so fundamental that had persisted in communities for so long. Therefore, we worked hand in hand with assembly members to say, let's come together and do something for ourselves. Community hype with a theme, collectively projecting the good and addressing the challenges in our communities. This is where it stemmed from. It was a 2-day event that we had last year. Day 1, we had a seminar for the youth that we have in our camp. And what happened was that there are a lot of very, very high excelling individuals in entrepreneurship around who are also willing to impart, but they don't have the time to go around and organize this. So we put them together and say, we have also put a number of youth together, come and impart. So at the Takrady Mall conference room, we filled it up with our own members. They were imparted and they registered under various training programs. And out of that, we have a training program that I'll be talking about. Day 2, we hit on the streets in the morning and did a float, creating awareness on community hype. In the afternoon, we gathered and had a feast with children from 3 selected homes. And the essence was not just to put smiles on their face, as has been the cliche, but then we looked at getting them to form synergies among themselves and across one children's home to another. In the evening, we mounted a stage where, together with our assembly members, we did presentations to say, this is what I have to tell the world about my community. This is what my community needs. This is what is good in my community that I believe that when somebody should come and help us will be so impactful. So after Community Hype Event 2021, as I said earlier, the outcome is in 3 folds. Number 1 is community development. And community development here, as we're talking about, is a community development that does not look at one party to do the development. So it is an all-inclusion agenda. It is in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 11, creating sustainable cities and communities. And the notion is that local governments cannot do it alone. And so we need to make it an all-inclusion agenda. In the light of this, we have seen communities hosting a couple of projects. In Chapel Hill, we have Davidtron Electricals, whom we approached with street lights challenges, and Davidtron volunteered to assist us, and we did this in collaboration with the assembly member. I must say that it is work in progress. Davidtron, if you are here, we say thank you. In Adakope, there is an uncompleted borehole project, which means so much to the community, together with other challenges that we have. We currently have what we call the Community Needs Assessment Register. And this register is telling whoever has support for the community that this is what we need. If you want to do something for us, this is what we need. You can do this and go extra, the extra mile. So this is a picture from the borehole site at Adakope. Another outcome of the community hype event is the skills acquisition training that we've also come up with. This takes into consideration the fact that averagely 10% of graduates each year after national service get direct employment, and 90% struggle. In 2018, a survey that was done by University of Ghana indicated that out of 109,000 graduates, only 10% had job after national service. And we are looking at 90%, representing about 90,000 graduates who are to struggle for themselves. And the way out is for people to be able to do their own business, earn a skill, and be able to earn a living out of it. We know that a lot of times people are trained and they end up with the experience and certificates and still stay at home hungry. Ours is not like that. In the interest of time, we are not able to share the details of everything. Out of this, we've been able to seek support for some youth who are enjoying free training. Our partner who is supporting us on that would help with the details. So this is a training that youth in these catchment areas are picked by Bolts to go for training for free. They have lunch for free, and they are sent back home for free. And this side of it, the money is not from the pockets of CorpNation Foundation, but it's just the initiative and the arrangement to make it happen. At this juncture, if Diapa Workspace is here, I would invite Diapa to give a little more insight on one of the trainings that some of the youth who are under CorpNation Foundation are enjoying.
Thank you, Xavier. All protocol observed. We have collaboration with CorpNation Foundation where CorpNation mobilized the youth for us to enroll in data science training. And they went through 6 weeks of intensive skills training on data science. After the 6 weeks, they were enrolled in an incubation program. And currently, one of them is going to Accra to represent their power workspace in a pitching competition where they are going to pitch nationally. There are startups coming from all across the country, and we are still preparing them on their pitch deck. Today we have the lady Hildegard Hans. If you are here, you can show yourself. She is going to Accra on behalf of their Power Workspace and CorpNation Foundation to compete among other startups. And once she wins, she is going to receive funding to support her startup. She is working on Yawofo Daily Care project, which is a startup seeking to connect caregivers to customers who are in need. Currently, if you need a caregiver for your aged mother, or you are a busy parent, you need someone to take care of your child, I don't think you can Google and find somebody. But then they are building a digital platform that will connect caregivers to customers. And I think this is one of the success stories that we can talk about. And currently, we are recruiting over 100 people to go through a skills training that will be digitizing agriculture. We all know there are a lot of opportunities in agriculture. We are not going to train them on how to farm, but then how to develop digital tools, digital startups that will solve the problem in agriculture. And we are going to count on CorpNation to provide this youth the needed opportunity. The training is free. Boats will take you to the training grounds and back home. And then you are also going to get your lunch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rasmus. So we continue. So on our screens is our pictures we got from the seminar we had at the Takoradi Mall Conference last year. These are some reactions that we picked. And then I must say that when these young ones actually present themselves for specific training, they are interviewed for validation of their interest to be sure that, yes, they are really interested and that they are not going to fall off along the line, which has also been one of the challenges that their Power Workspace does report. So these are scenes of training sessions from DUAPA, certification, when certificates presented. And the third outcome of Community Hype 2021 is the 4R Plus initiative that we have also been able to come up with. So this initiative basically addresses poor sanitation and deforestation. And together, it's a way of combating climate change. Poor sanitation from a source, a reliable source, costs Ghana 290 million plus each year. And if you divide this by 16, we will be sharing about 18 million for each region. So now, if we are able to manage our sanitation issues, or let me say if we are to get rid of this canker, what will happen is that if not for the whole of the 18 million for a region, we should be able to say we are going to spend, let's say, 8 million and use 10 million out of this for developmental projects and other important projects that we need in our communities. So we, the youth especially, should be able to work on this. And then we should be able to say, this is what we've done. There is no more sanitation problem. This is the source we have. There is money that was used to address sanitation problems. You need to address this other, or you need to embark on this other development agenda. Poor sanitation in our communities is usually evident with plastic waste choking gutters and the likes. It's so unfortunate that we let our waste become a menace, or our waste is a menace. Plastic waste is a huge challenge for us as a people. Ironically, plastic waste is for sale. And the only way to sell your plastic waste is to segregate your waste and get the plastics. Nobody sees copper materials at the dump sites because everybody knows the value of the copper material. If you don't pick it, the next person will pick it up. So why do we walk by plastic waste? Nobody throws his copper waste into gutters? It is time for us to understand that we are not doing ourselves any good with our own practices. We are rather letting our resources become a problem to manage. So 4R Plus initiative teaches to reduce waste, reuse waste as much as we can, recycle waste when possible, and recovery as well. This is purely advocacy. In the interest of sustainability, we added the plus to make sure that it is self-driven, self-sustainable. Now, the plus components include tree planting activities, out of which we have worked in partnership with the Forestry Commission on some projects and some which is yet to come. We do tree planting. Someone says it's not tree planting, it's tree growing, because when you plant it, you should grow it, make sure it grows. Student clubs also is a way of ensuring that this project, when launched in a school, is sustained within the school, and sustained by the school, but not CorpNation Foundation. And when it's in a community, it is the corporate youth club who owns this and drive it. Annual environmental quizzes. So we should see environmental quizzes on sanitation, on waste management, to foster other interests that would drive some of the youth to go into waste management as a venture. People are looking for job to do. We have a lot of waste around, and that is job. And how to do it is also the next thing. If you are looking for job to do, if there is population census going on, what you see is that somebody will want to join to make sure he or she gets enlisted to partake. Now, if that is not there, what job is there? One of them is the waste around. Think of what you can do with the waste and make money out of it. We can search on the internet to get ideas. We can also look at our 4R Plus initiative to do this. So as way of sustaining it, we also create a lot more awareness and to also add award scheme. So if it is to happen in a school, we should be seeing activities as inter-house environmental quizzes, inter-house environmental award, and the likes. And then we should be seeing the likes of inter-schools, environmental awards, inter-school environmental practices. So the vision is to see to it that human activities that contribute to poor sanitation and deforestation are identified and adequately addressed. Our mission is that we seek to make Ghana the cleanest country and Africa a cleaner continent within the shortest possible time with this. So, by way of piloting, we launched 4R Plus at GSTS school, my alma mater, and we have achieved some results that we'll be talking about. So these are pictures from the launch. These are bins that we introduced. And I must say that Mr. Erasmus from the Upper Workspace shared this idea with me, that the use of discarded car tires to form a bin is even a way to demonstrate reuse of waste. So these were made by us, labeled to collect different kinds or types of plastics. So the sachet water packs has its desirable bias, general plastics, the normal polythene, and every other plastic material. Then plastic bottles. So when these bins are full, they are emptied into a big cage, which is also having 3 compartments. Each compartment collects different kind of plastic. And when the cage is full, the buyer is called to come and weigh and pay for this. So this is a picture of CorpNation Foundation and Saving the Planet Club. So when we do any project with this initiative, we call it Saving the Planet, because we are combating climate change, and to a large extent, we are saving our planet Earth. So this is the picture of Saving the Planet group or club members at GSTS. We also have a booklet that has a summary of what the whole teachings is about that we share with the students. These are pictures from our tree planting activities at GSTS. We've also launched this at New Takrade and taking all necessary steps to make sure that we achieve the best of results. Statistically, we are able to tell what environmental savings we've been able to make. Now, so far, at GSTS, the total weight of plastic waste recovered is 1,700 kilograms. So that is almost 2 tons of plastic in a few months, since I think May this year. The environmental savings we can boast of is that we've been able, so these kilos of plastics, if they were to be burnt at a landfill and emit greenhouse gases, the equivalent of those greenhouse gases will be 4,930 kilograms carbon dioxide equivalent. So this helps us to be able to even measure the savings we make, and this encourages us to keep on doing more and set targets to do better. Again, we've launched 4 Hour Plus initiative at Bethel Methodist Basic School and Bethel Church. To your left on the screen is the situation we met at Bethel Methodist School and Church premises. So to your right is the transformation, a symbol of the transformation. And over there, fortunately, they had a cage, and with the support of another individual who is interested in what we're doing, came in to divide this existing cage into 3 compartments to aid the segregation. So every classroom has separate bins, simple baskets labeled to collect different types of waste. And in every classroom, the class prefect is the responsible person to make sure that segregation goes well. So we leverage on the existing authorities in the schools to make it work. Mr. Mbia, I acknowledge your presence. So these are pictures from the launch we did at Bethel Methodist. At this point, I'll call on the head teacher for GSTS, Dr. Kennedy Obin, to share with us what GSTS has to say.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Nana Chair, may I ask permission to stand on the protocols already established to make my submission? Thank you. GSCS is predominantly a boys' school with a population of almost 3,000. Hitherto, we used to make a lot of waste. So management decided to bring out an initiative we call Pick As You Go to solve the waste products, because we used to have choked gutters, debris all around, and we succeeded in solving the sanitation problem, but then also added to our cost, because we were gathering the debris, and then the waste management companies were coming for it and charging us. So the frequency at which they were coming was also adding to our cost and also becoming a headache. So when CorpNation came around, we partnered with them, and then they provided, as you could see, the Aprotec, the used car tires, and that helped us. Frankly speaking, not only have we reduced the sanitation challenges in our school, but we have also been able to recoup some amount, because this time we don't pay for the waste we do, we are paid for the waste we generate. And this is the story of GSTS. Thank you.
So, a little research I did landed on this result that we have these other schools in the Western region. So now the question is, how do we make sure that this initiative or this project gets to these schools? And Dr. Ken has been full of praises for us, and out of that we have schools also requesting that we extend this project to their campuses. Look ahead projects. So if we are able to generate 2 tons of plastic waste only in GSTS, I'm told that by population, the likes of SECO and other schools generate more waste than GSTS. So we should expect more of this in other schools. And if we are to multiply 2 by 30, we will be looking at somewhere, that is even on the average, that's 60 tons of plastic waste in a couple of months. What should happen to these 60 tons of plastic waste? The best for us, or in our opinion, is to have a plastic waste recycling plant here in the Western region, which in its form will also create employment for the youth whilst we address sanitation problems. Agriculture is also a way to go. So as part of our Look Ahead project, we believe that it's imperative for us to encourage the youth to go into agriculture. The statistics that we see is so scary, is so disturbing. We import fish, some millions of dollars. We import tomatoes and the likes. And this is also another area where we have a gap to close. Some people say there is no land for farming, but we believe that from today and subsequent engagement, chiefs will make lands available to the youth through structured means for farming activities. So in summary, under community hype, we have the community football, we have the skills acquisition and entrepreneurship training, we have community development, we have the 4-Hour Plus initiative, and yet to add agriculture projects in different dynamics. Thank you. We would like to share with you a few of the challenges that we have registered from the communities. So with what we did, I'll be talking through and the controller would be making the shift for us to see. So if you look at it, the heading, we have community, we have name of assembly member, we have opportunity, and we have threats or challenges, and also agreed solutions, and what is the budget for that. So what we intended to do is not only to talk about problems. So we were looking at doing a SWOT analysis. Those of us who are familiar with the SWOT, we are looking at assessing our strengths as communities, our weaknesses, what opportunities prevail, and what are the threats or the challenges. But here, most of what we gathered are challenges, and moving on, we are going to make sure we register other part or components of the SWOT that makes it a balanced situation. So New Takoradi, we recorded a poor sanitation as a concern, and the solution is to extend the 4-Hour Plus initiative to New Takoradi. And we have a budget for that. Illegal fishing is also one of the records we picked from New Takoradi. And we believe that New Takoradi does not only fish on the sea, there is already an existing means of addressing this. How can we add value to it to make it even more effective? That is regatta, a sea sporting activity that happens and creates the platform for dialogue and also advocacy against illegal fishing. At New Takoradi, there is an interesting observation that we made at New Takoradi as part of the follow-ups that we did. Now, if you spend a night here at Best Western Atlantic, in the day you come to your balcony or outside, you see the sea. In the night, you don't even see the sea, it's dark. But at New Takoradi, there is a place where when you stand, you see the beautiful port expansion during the day, and in the night, it's a Dubai scene, because you see the lights all come on. And I personally will cite my hotel on this land and not here, because the site alone will make people lodge there more than here. If you go to Busia Beach, you drive through the Busia community. So why can't somebody drive through New Takoradi up to this place that I'm talking about to say I'm going to lodge in a 4-star hotel? So we believe that as part of projecting the good, this is a typical example. And ironically, it is a public toilet that is on this land. that I'm talking about. Kwekuma reported that they have a lot of unemployment challenges. So currently in our training program, we have 13 youth from Kwekuma who have been registered. And so if this is scaled up for us to have 50 youth from Kwekuma per year, we will be close to addressing unemployment challenges or suppressing it at Kwekuma. Adakope seems to have a tall list. Waste skip, we call it, is not available at Adakope. And if you should see how waste management or waste is managed at Adakope, it's awful. A water body that's elsewhere, you see jet ski on and, being a tourist site, you see waste dumped there. And the challenge is that there is no space for this, but there is a solution, and it is possible to implement the solution. Poor flooding is also one of the challenges they have. This is a big problem to deal with, but we believe that in the meantime, if there is a program to desilt the drain, the storm drain in question, ahead of the downpour each year, it will go a long way to save the situation whilst we look at a bigger problem. In Adakope, they have very poor drainage system. And you see somebody's bathroom wastewater running behind another person's window. And we believe that it seems to be a huge challenge, but it is not as huge as it may appear to be. There are malaria control programs, and we should be able to plug in to such opportunities to say, if you really want to make a claim that you have solved malaria problems in Ghana, in Western region, in Africa, we have a situation for you. We can start with the design of the drainage system by an architect. We have bill of quantities, and present it where we have to present it and get the support. I may not be able to run through all in the interest of time, but I must say that there is a lot of other very fundamental problems which require little efforts and especially smart ways to address them in our communities. Isikafa Bantam number 2 is another one. Poor drainage system. We believe that Isikafa Bantam number 2 especially is so disadvantaged because the storm drains from different sources from the market circle and other areas end up at Isikafa Bantam, joining to go across the road. And the usual challenge, the culvert's diameter is not wide enough. With our follow-ups, we understand that the market circle project has a phase 2 that has to do with upgrading this drain. We don't know how this is going to go, but I believe that with a collective effort and engagement, not only for the assembly member of Isikafa Bantam number 2, but we all rally behind, we'll be able to get authorities to make it happen. We've talked about poor sanitation. Honorable Christian Achu, Zenith area, the same challenge was at Fijai. What we do is that we don't just come to say we are coming to address your sanitation problem. We are not just coming to do cleanup. We work with you. We make sure you form a club we orient them, they host us, we do, and we go. What happens is that your own people should continue to do, because tomorrow when you need me, I may not be around. So this also runs across a number of the communities. We've talked about the street light challenges in Chapel Hill. I was there on site, and we had some community members telling us their experience. Somebody tells us, this street light, this is the routes I take to church at dawn. For the past 2 years, 3 years, it hasn't worked. And Davidtron was there with us. In a couple of hours, a number of them were restored. Like I said earlier, it's an ongoing project. We will not want to bother you with the full contents of this register, but that is what we have as Community Needs Assessment Register that we are working with. So we also have the register for the trading. So we move to the bottom to say that we have 78 youth across ECMA and STMA who have registered to be trained. And these 78 youth cut across geographical areas, that is so in all of this, we have our budgets that we've been able to, okay, good. We have budgets that we've been able to put together with the support of experts. So 4 hour plus per school, it costs averagely 8,000 USD. And so if we are to extend this to all senior high schools in the Western region as the call demands, we are looking at a budget of 240,000 USD. And with this, we are also mirroring the 18 million USD that we shared earlier. With the skills acquisition and entrepreneurship training for 78 youth across 17 communities, there is a budget of 20,000 USD. Community development. So we are going through the register, and across all these communities, there is a budget of 110,000 USD to solve problems in all these communities, to impact these communities. And you don't need them, you don't need to struggle to tell what you've done, because they will tell the story. Community football is also budgeted for. Community hype event itself. So we did the first edition at the Takrade Mall last year. We are supposed to do again, and we need support. In all of this, some of us from where we sit, we know what this total budget means. In a way, it looks a lot of money, but in reality, and if you just oppose this to the solutions we are providing, it is no money. We will continue to do the engagement from here, and we believe that with your support, we will make the difference that we have earmarked to make. I said earlier, it is an annual event. Next year by now, we will be gathered again